Welcome to the Hugo Build Time news, all the news that fits into a Hugo build, brought to you by CloudCannon. And now at human speed, it's been a busy few months, so let's run through the highlights. New releases, some smart community solutions, and a couple of creative projects that really push what Hugo can do. We'll start with releases because there's been a lot of movement. The big one is Hugo version 0.158.0, which dropped on March 16th. The headline feature is css.build, native CSS bundling, transformation, and minification, all built into Hugo. This release also brings strings.replacePairs for fast multi-string replacement, and it upgrades to Go 1.26.1, which patches a security issue in Go's template package. One thing to watch here, several language-related template methods and config options have been deprecated. There's a dedicated post on the Hugo forums walking through what's changed. I'll link that below. Before that, Hugo version 0.155.0 landed in late January with version range queries. It also extended .getinfo to work with module content, which is great if you're pulling in docs from external modules and want to show last updated dates, for example. And going back a little further, version 0.154.0 introduced partial decorators. These are partial templates you can call from anywhere. Shortcodes, render hooks, other partials. If you've ever wished Hugo templates were more composable, this is the feature you've been waiting for. Alright, community time. A few articles stood out. First of all, David Isaacson wrote up a clean solution for handling images in light and dark mode. If you've ever toggled your site to dark mode and watched your diagrams disappear into the background, this is for you. David's approach is a custom shortcode that renders two versions of each image and uses CSS to toggle between them. He makes the diagrams in Excalidraw and just exports them twice, once per mode. Simple, effective, and the code's all in the post. Next, Dmitry Alexandrov tackled something that I think a lot of us have felt but never solved, the paranoia of updating Hugo and not knowing if something broke on a page you didn't manually check. His solution is a script that builds both the current and staged versions of the site, then diffs their generated HTML. He actually caught a subtle bug in the RSS feed during a minor version bump, the kind of thing you'd possibly never spot just by checking around. Really worth reading if you maintain a site that's grown beyond a handful of pages. And Harry Cresswell shared two solid posts, one on inserting content from one Hugo section into another, think pulling product cards into blog posts, for example, using site.getPage inside a shortcode with a CloudCannon integration, so editors can do it from a dropdown. The other is a practical walkthrough of Hugo's config directory, which lets you split a big hugo.toml into separate files for params, menus, languages, and so on. Both are linked below. Two forum threads worth flagging. There was a good discussion about the security benefits of staying fully static, kicked off by a Vercel security bulletin that disclosed a couple of CVEs. The point being, when your site is just HTML and CSS files sitting on a CDN, your attack surface is basically nothing. It's one of these things that's easy to take for granted with Hugo until you see what can go wrong elsewhere. And then there's this fantastic project from Christian Manke, who used Hugo to generate an actual book from a website. He built custom templates tied to a Hugo output format that produced a single large HTML file, and then used Vivlio style, which is CSS for paged media, to handle layout, a table of contents, and pagination. The whole pipeline is automated. You make a new post on your site, your book is automatically updated. It's a really creative use of Hugo's output format system. And quick mentions to close out. The Blowfish theme now has a CLI tool, npx blowfish-tools, that makes setup and configuration a lot smoother. Really worth checking out if you're shopping for a theme. And on the video side, there's a solid comparison of 11t Hugo and Astro for 2026 that's been making the rounds. There's also a comprehensive Hugo tutorial in Spanish, a French video about migrating from WordPress to Hugo, and a demo of Forge, which converts existing HTML templates into Hugo themes automatically. I'll link all of those below. And a quick word from CloudCannon. If you're juggling multiple Hugo client sites and your content teams need something more user-friendly than raw markdown files, CloudCannon's worth checking out. It keeps your Git workflow intact while giving non-technical folks a visual editor to work with. Plus it handles Hugo shortcodes and lets you set up different permission levels for different team members. And that's the roundup. If you're still running Hugo before version 0.154, the jump to 0.158 is well worth it. Just check the deprecation notes before you upgrade. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.